I'm the host of this little hour where you in the chat can talk about anything you want, and I will lend an ear and listen. Yeah. Anything from sobriety, if you're going through any sort of sobriety issues, depression, any anxiety, anything in life, really. I don't claim to be an expert on any of those issues, any of those genres, categories, subjects. I've been sober now for almost 6 years. It's going to be 6 years in July. So I have, some experience with sobriety. I have some experience with depression. I have some experience with a lot of things, a lot of addictions. So I can speak on those, but I don't have, I'm not like a registered therapist. I'm not able to diagnose anything. So I'm not claiming to be any of those things. But, if you want to talk about anything that you're going through and you need somebody to listen, I'm here. I'm here for y'all. I know what it's like to not really have anybody to talk to about anything you're going through that's really rough. I know that therapy is a luxury in America. I'm not sure about other countries with free healthcare, but I know that I pay for therapy every week, and it's really expensive. I pay $200 a week for therapy. So it's probably one of my biggest bills, if not my biggest bill, but it's very, very important. Desi, what up? Brent, good to see you in here. Omar, good to see you. Yeah, I know I haven't done a Ruin an Hour in a while, so I just kind of wanted to get these cracking again. So let's do it. How's everybody doing? I was madly depressed that year, last year, and I finally feel like I've come out of it and actually have a sense of belonging. I just want to say that anyone can make it through the hard times. Jardok, how did you get through your depression? What do you think you found the root of it? Do you feel like you moved through it just because it was an emotion that was transient? I want to hear more about that. 6 years? Yep. I know, it's been a long time. I've been doing Watch for a long time. That's why there's episodes of Watch where I am drinking. And I love those exist, to be honest. I know a lot of people don't like to see, when they're sober, content, footage, photos of when they were using. But I personally really am grateful that exists because it shows me how far I've come. In every way, and I talk about this a lot on here, that I like that those exist not only for, seeing how much physically I look different, but also how I act, how I talk, everything about it. It's just, I'm really grateful that I'm able to be proud of the progress that I've made. What's up, M. Cress? Good to see you. Yeah, it's not covered under universal health care here in Canada. Let me scoot this closer. My eyes are really bad, and Ilmac makes fun of me all the time for it, as well as everybody else. I definitely need to get glasses, but I'm stubborn. Miguel, hey man, I know at times we all need this at times in our lives. Thank you for doing this for people. Always like to see the videos, but this is giving back to the community even more. Thank you, Miguel. Appreciate that. For anyone here that needs to hear it, there are people out there that want you here on Earth. People that will miss you if you are gone. Stay as strong as you can. It's not easy, but you got this. It's good words, man. Thank you for that. Coyote, what's up? Been taking care of my elderly mom for over a year through frequent panic attacks and depression. I wouldn't be here without God. It's amazing to hear, man. Congrats on that. There's nothing more commendable than being there for your parents. I respect the fuck out of that. Good job. It was a long battle since childhood, honestly. I've learned to make friends with my depression and embrace all the emotions while not letting them control my actions or outcome in life. Music got me through. Watching battle rap all the time helped a lot too. That's amazing to hear, man. Merc, what up? Billy, what up? Big Black Crayon, good to see you in here. I want to say your channel is a legit channel I use to introduce people to battle rap. So if you weren't there, who would ruin our day? Well, good point. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I want to speak on you talking about embracing your depression and not letting them control yourself. I think you're kind of speaking a little bit about like Carl Jung's shadow self. For example, like I deal with judgment a lot, self-judgment a lot. Like I'm very, very critical of myself. A lot of it is negative, mostly negative. And I deal with a lot of judgment of other people. And a thing that Jung talks about is that the shadow is always present and it's something that you can't really get rid of. So, for example, your depression is probably something that you can't get rid of, but learning to let it not control your entire being and also learning to not let it influence your actions and lean into it and then do an action based on your depression. For example, if like I was to do an example based on like my uncomfortability in life, it would be like drinking or like, having like being disloyal in a relationship or something where I was uncomfortable with me and my own self-love. So I'd be acting out to like destroy that. So learning to not act on emotions that come up is super important, like judgment. If I was to like, for example, it's like I talk about this a lot, but I have like a lot of trouble with dating nowadays. And if I was to see a couple that was happy and instead of being, envious of like, oh, I want that one day, that's so beautiful that they're happy together. Sometimes I'm like judgmental and I start comparing myself to that guy and like, what does he have that I don't? If I was to act and lean into that, that would be an example of that, of like putting this guy down that I know nothing about. He could be the most amazing dude. He could be awesome. I could get along with him. But I think that's really good that you learn to do that. Creating music as much as I can, not being hard on myself and about the production and learning that I'm the whole on my own and don't need recognition from anyone but myself. Yeah, that's really true. That's really true. Making music or making any sort of art is really important to have it be a self journey and a self-enriching activity. I made tons and tons and tons of things throughout my I don't even know what you call what I do, because it's like I do battle rap. I also make music videos. I also do VFX. I do a lot of stuff, and money is not at the forefront of those at all. Like I don't film battle rap because I want to be rich at all. If anything, it's like the opposite. I'm like not wealthy because I film battle rap. But it's a choice. It's an artistic choice because I love this art form. I love this. I love diving into mental health a lot. Like I really wish I could do this a lot more, to be honest. But it should be for yourself. It should be like something that really like internally pleases you. How familiar are you with AA? What are your thoughts on step 2? Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Sean Hanna, you seem to be very self-disciplined and kick the habit without reliance on a group. Yeah, so I think AA is wonderful. I think it's a great program that works for a lot of people. If you guys know Lush, when Lush was sober for I think 4 years, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's 3.5, but he was sober for a considerable amount of time. And as a lifelong addict that he is, that is impressive. That was very impressive that he stayed sober so long. Like we were really close when he was sober. I mean, we're still really close, but he went through like a really, really hard time in his sobriety that a lot of people would have relapsed off of initially, but it took him a while to eventually relapse. But he wouldn't have been sober without AA. AA definitely got him to his sobriety point. I believe that if he started going back to AA, he probably would get sober again. So I think it does wonderful things for a lot of people. Me personally, a lot of it rubs me the wrong. I'm just speaking candidly. I'm not trying to put AA down right now because this is all about free talking, but a lot of things about AA does rub me the wrong way, unfortunately. It's very antiquated. It was like made in the 40s. So a lot of things do feel outdated. To be completely honest with you, I've never been to an actual AA meeting. I've been to SAA, which is Sex Addicts Anonymous, and I've been to SLAW, which is Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous. I've been to plenty of those meetings, and I try to go and keep an open mind, but to me the format is so rigid and sterile that it doesn't feel therapeutic for me. It feels like almost like homework, and it doesn't feel like it's really enriching. But I do feel like everybody is different. Just because I quit drinking 6 years ago and it was relatively easy for me and I saw the benefits immediately, and to be honest with you, I never think about drinking ever. Like I don't think about drinking in the way that I want to, and I miss it. And if I'm like depressed or uncomfortable or lonely or like sad about an ex-girlfriend or blah blah blah, like the things I go through, I'm never like, oh man, I need to escape this. Like for example, in this studio we're shooting in right now, this is my fucking garage. Behind us is Geechee's No Studio In setup. So most of the garage is actually Geechee's studio, but there's like a bar that I can see right now that has like tons of alcohol in it. And it's not triggering. I'm not like, oh man, ooh, that's an escape over there. That can make me feel really good. That's dopamine over there. That shit is like as foreign to me as like shooting up heroin right now. It's like just not an option. It's not something that interests me in any way. Yeah, it's weird. It's just completely outside of my spectrum. And I think it's because you have these like neurological pathways that you when you're looking for an escape or a dopamine hit or anything like that your mind will immediately go to. And mine was alcohol. You know, mine was, hold on, let me change the exposure because this light just turned the heck on. My bad, guys. Boom. Okay. That should be better. I don't know what's up with this like Kino light, like randomly, like one of the bulbs like turns off and on. But anyways, so yeah, neurological pathways. That's the reason why addiction is so strong for a lot of people, is because you have this quick neurological pathway that will get you out of any uncomfortable feeling. It's like, boom, okay, like dopamine right here. It's social media, it's Instagram, it's alcohol, it's a cigarette, it's like talking to this woman, it's blah, blah, blah. It's anything, you know, and for me, alcohol was one of those things, as well as like sex and like, you know, being basically, you know, whatever. But now I've like removed that pathway. I've paved over that pathway. It's not a road anymore. It's just like a foreign, dusty, rocky path that you can't walk down. So just because for me quitting alcohol was relatively easy doesn't mean for you it should be. We're all so different. We all come from different backgrounds, different genetic makeup. I think addiction could be very genetic. So like the chemical imbalance that is within me is within other people is so different that like, yeah, maybe I just don't have the chemical mix up that makes drinking really hard. Kicking other stuff for me is difficult. There is like a lot of stuff in my life that is challenging to quit. You know, like love addiction is a big thing with me. I miss people that I haven't talked to in years, that are not in my life anymore, that I probably will never see again. And they like kind of haunt me. Like I think about them every day. So that's an example of like that is a challenge for me. Alcohol really isn't. But it doesn't mean that alcohol should be easy to quit for everybody, you know? So I think AA is a really like helpful tool if you can make it work for you. For me, it just wasn't something that really worked. Connecting to a higher power like God, I think is wonderful. I personally am not faithful in God. I'm not knocking anybody that is. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's blah blah blah. That's just not my path. So that step 2 in SLA and SAA and AA did present a lot of challenges for me because I'm not a believer in that. So it was challenging for me. But that's my long-winded answer on AA. I think it works for a lot of people. I think it's great. If you're trying to get sober, those programs are an amazing thing to try. They offer a great deal of community that is all there to support each other, and I think that's really an important thing. It's like the community aspect of it. Community in general is so important to us, you know, like humans. We like to think of ourselves as like these independent creatures. You know, it's like I'm a very introverted person. I love to spend time alone. I love to be by myself, but it's not realistic to think that I could just be alone all the time. I wouldn't be able to exist. Everything that I do is on a bedrock of society, and sapiens have always been groups. You know, it's like we used to like raise children in groups. That's like the term, it takes a village to raise a child, is so true. So I think community is extremely important, especially in recovery, especially in these type of atmospheres. Screen addiction is tough for me, Coyote. Screen addiction is tough for a lot of people. It's tough for me, and I don't even have social media, but I've been like creeping back on like Ruin Your Days Twitter, and I'll find it's like literally like an involuntary fucking muscle reflex action when I get online. It's just a pop open a new tab, hit T, fills in the Twitter URL, and just go to Twitter and then scroll and see the worst things, dude. Twitter is an abomination of a website. It's like you go there, and if you're not on the following thing in the for you, it's like you're seeing people die, you're seeing people get in fights, you're seeing like the worst of the worst. And that's like consuming just like mental fast food. It's like this weird, crazy dopamine hit because you're seeing all this crazy stuff, but it's really horrible. It is like absolutely horrible. At least I feel terrible whenever I get off there. It's never like, I never feel great, like I learned anything, or like that I shared in like a positive exchange with somebody. I try really hard to do that personally, but I feel like the common consensus on there isn't really that. But screen addiction is real, man. It's super real. Our whole society, it's like my phone is right here, you know? It's like my phone is a part of my body. It's never far away. I didn't leave my phone in my house when I came out here to do this live show. It's by my fucking laptop for some reason, you know. So yeah, it's a fucking real thing. I know a lot of people put like locks on their screens and stuff like that. I wonder if like it will ever get to a point where we just stop using smartphones and start using like razors again or something like that, because you know how everything's retro. Could be cool. I know what you mean, Mama Ward. What's up, Peggy? Good to see you in here. I'm about to film your son later on today. He's gonna do a great job. What's up, RX? Yo, Reese, are you gonna be at the event today? I was hoping you were, because I really hope you're doing the commentary. You're like the best at it, and I think this event in general you would be amazing at. How do you stay sober and not make it your entire personality? Yeah, I know what you mean by that. I mean, there are a lot. I think. I mean, I laugh at that, but I think that might be kind of an unfair thing to say. But I get what you're saying. Like, there are people out there that like being sober and remaining sober is really, really hard. So they have to make it their entire existence. Like, they have to wake up, and every minute to minute is like staying sober. It's like, I'm not going to drink. I'm going to make it through this next minute. I'm not going to drink. I'm going to make it through this next minute. I don't have that challenge, and it might be a chemical thing, it might be a genetic thing. It's just not that way. I never think about alcohol ever. I'm really, really grateful for it, and I have no like, I did this and this will also happen to you. I did this and you'll forget all about alcohol. I really just tried to put myself on a better path every day of like enriching myself in some way, being a better person. It's not successful all the time. Most of the time it's not successful. I fuck up constantly. I make mistakes all the time. I, do stuff that I'm not proud of a lot, So I'm not a better person consistently every single day. It's not like just a ramp up and like being fucking Buddha or something like that. But yeah, I mean, being sober isn't like all my personality, but it is sort of my personality. Like, I do have to mention it. Like, for example, I'm fucking taking salsa dance classes. I wanted to try something that was completely outside of my wheelhouse, and dancing is definitely that. I've never danced in my life. I used to like make fun of people that danced, especially salsa. Like one of my close friends actually does salsa, and I used to like roast him for it all the time. And I was like, fuck it. Like I was coming back from Orlando, and this Uber driver really sold me on it, and he was just saying how much of like a warm, welcoming community it is. And I'm like, fuck, I've never tried it. Want to go give it a whirl. So that's one thing that's like super outside my wheelhouse and not comfortable for me to go in and do salsa. But I want to say that to say this. Last night we have like practice. So you go there for like an hour and a half with like other people, and they have alcohol there, which I'm kind of torn on that in general. Like I don't know why like the instructor has alcohol. Like I know it's like to get people loose and stuff like that, but I'm still like, we should be a little professional here. This isn't like a party atmosphere, but I get it. It's like fun to get like buzzed and dance. And yeah, like I kind of have to like, people are like, oh, what do you like to drink? And I'm just like, water. I'm like, I don't drink. And they're like, oh, and I could tell like some people were kind of like, oh, like kind of off-put by it a little bit. But nobody's like lame, you know, like how I used to be or something like that. So yeah, I think it's just, I don't know about not making my entire personality. I think I just don't have that need to like focus on it every single day, you know. And I'm super grateful for it. So, yeah. Accountability is a beautiful thing, but don't be too hard on yourself about your addiction, Avo. We're on fucking Earth. I appreciate that. Like I said, self-judgment is a big thing for me, and it's something that I definitely struggle with, so I appreciate you saying that. Thanks, man. I watch a lot of the content. I drink a lot, but it isn't like a huge problem in anyone in my life, but it bothers me. So I see you are being sober, but not exactly pushing your agenda on people. So I had to ask, because a lot of people with sober come across like vegans. No, I get that, man. I get that. I think people that are sober do push the sober agenda. But I think that's just because people want to like spread like a good thing that they're going through. I mean, I guess you could say I'm pushing the sober agenda with this show. It's like, you know, I'm a big advocate for, if you do see a problem in your life, that take the steps necessary to work on that challenge. You know, it's like, I don't think alcohol is inherently evil. Like, just like I don't think a cigarette is evil. I don't think a piece of cake is evil. But anything in excess, is not good. I do think that an excessive amount of alcohol isn't improving anything about your life, and I think if anything, it's detrimental. Just like excessive amounts of cigarettes is probably not good. I mean, I don't think it's good. I don't think probably. So yeah, I know I don't push that agenda, but I am a firm believer that if you do think that it is a problem, work on it, man. You got this. You can like slowly wean yourself off of anything, you know. And it's. I'm not saying that it's easy. It's not always easy at all. Like, you know, quitting drinking for me wasn't the hardest thing, but other things in my life have been fucking really hard. Have been insanely challenging. So, yeah, different strokes for different folks. Kicking different things for like different difficulty levels. So, congrats, Sunday. I don't get anxiety anymore. What did you do to improve that? That's super impressive. That's amazing. I'm a big fan of comedy and battle rap. How the fuck is Roan friends with Big K and Shane Gillis? I think Roan met Shane through being from Philly and being on Barstool. So I think that's like the connection right there. Plus, you know, Shane is, really funny, and yeah, Shane's the man. Yeah, Lush relapsed, unfortunately. But he said he was going to relapse. That's a lot of people in active recovery know that they'll eventually relapse, because that, for a lot of people, that's a part of recovery. For me, that I don't abide by that mentality. Like, I don't think it should be like mandatory to relapse, but I understand like why people say that, so they can soften the blow if it eventually does happen, which, you know, mistakes happen. So it's like it softens the the blow to the ego, and it's like makes it easier to not be so critical of yourself if you do eventually relapse. In the same sense, you got to be able to acknowledge your problems and take the proper route to fix the thing that you're going through. Totally agree with that. How do you personally balance being creative when it's your full-time job as well? Ways to counteract burnout creativity. I find it a hard thing to navigate, which can lead to turning to vices. Great question. I mean, I'm in a very unique position with what I do for a living. Like battle rap, I'm able to do whatever I want. Like people literally let me do whatever I want with anything. Like, oh, we got an event. That's all they say. We got an event, and I'm like, what's the how many people are going to be there? Is it going to be a stage pit? What do you want to do? You know, it's like, for example, ARP, organic, even Smack. Like everybody is like Remy. Everybody has let me do whatever I want. Bullpen too. It's like they all just like have supreme trust in me. So maybe I'm not the right person to like ask that, because I have tons of creativity in battle rap and it's never stifled by like a client or like anything like that. But my other job, VFX, isn't very creative at all. If anything, I'm more of an engineer. You know, it's like when I'm keying out a green screen, it's like not a lot of like creativity there. It's mainly just key it out and make it look good. So I think it's really reformatting your brain to be like, okay, this isn't like a creative project. This is just this. Not burning yourself out though, I think is really important. I think some good things there is learn to take breaks, learn to get adequate sleep, learn to do something else besides work, you know, whether that be exercise. You know me. If anything, I probably have a really big addiction to working out. Like I work out a lot. I go to the gym twice a day, every day. It's probably a problem. But learning to take breaks, do other stuff that isn't that creative thing that you like to do for a living, read a book, watch a movie, do something that inspires you, you know, that like gets you going. You know, when I want inspiration, I'll just, do you guys know the website Pinterest? It used to be really big a long time ago, but I like belong to it because it just sends me like emails of like cool art every day, and I just like look at it and I get like, it's kind of like Instagram. I get like inspired. I'm like, cool, that's fucking dope. So I think really like having the duality of like your work, which is the creative thing that you like, and then also like other stuff that like, you know, will give you that balance. What's up, Dan? I'm working today. I'm filming a battle rap event tonight. I just figured I would go live and talk with y'all. How you doing, man? How's the dog business? I was thinking about you yesterday. It's exactly why I had to step back from working on music, because of how the creative process is inherently correlated with doing drugs. Yeah, it is. I mean, a lot of people that I know do music, do drugs, but a lot of people that I know that do music don't do drugs too, honestly. It's like Geechee like smokes and drinks, but Geechee doesn't really smoke and drink, dude. Like he drinks a little bit, he smokes a little bit. I don't think I've seen that guy drunk or inebriated more than fucking like 2 times in my entire life, and I've known that guy for now a very long time. I've known him now for like maybe 8 years. Same with Ilmac. Ilmac was sober for 4 years. Chase too. Chase doesn't drink either. Yeah, I don't think it's like it has to be part of it, but I know that it is a big part of the culture for sure. I feel like having a good support system is major. That is very true. That is very true. A good support system is super, super, super important with anything in life, especially any mental health issues, anything that you're trying to get through. You're right. I personally like to think of an enabler. I'd be like, just do it. That's a bad thing. What league have you not worked with that you want to? Shit, I don't know. Premier battles. My girl stays on Pinterest for exactly just that, like art, because my lady and all my friends are really skilled when it comes to drawing. Yeah, exactly. It's like really, really good for inspiration. I use it a lot. I did a radio spot yesterday, and we discussed this, like how wild it is that people be encouraging Eminem to do drugs because his music. Yeah, I mean, it is crazy. A lot of people, you know, aren't like the most kind when it comes to people's like best interests. Like I've had people like forget that I'm sober and like offer me like weed or like a drink, and I don't like, think anything of it, or like, man, fuck that person because they don't know I'm sober and they're like, enabling me or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, people have their own things, man. They're trying to be good people as well. Today's event is a really late one for me. I hope I get to see my son versus Cali Smooth. Battle rap helps me escape. Peggy, I hope you do. It's free, so that's good. It's gonna be on the Riot's YouTube. I gotta set that up like right after that event. Overcoming fear, to do that thing you always wanted to do. Learn the guitar, go for another country, ask that girl out, do it because regret is worse than failure. Yeah, I like that. Do you guys know that Mark, I think his name is Mark Mason. He wrote that book, like, what book did he, hold on, let me just look that up. Forget the name of the book. It's like The Art of Not Giving a Fuck or something like that. Mark Manson, I think. Yeah, so he wrote this book that's like really, really good. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I will say that's pretty bro-y. There's a lot of bro shit on there, but look at me, guys. I'm a fucking bro. I'm a white dude named Kyle. I cannot be more bro. I work out every day. Fuck. It's a stereotype. But, it's good. He has a quote like that like, failure is simply not doing. If you don't do that thing, if you don't try, you're failing. I like that. Might be a little heavy-handed for people that have anxiety. That might be pretty crazy, but yeah, he has a lot of cool quotables on there. I used to have that book, but I gave it away. I'd be giving away all my books. Today the event is free. It's live streamed on the Riot for free. I literally always bring you a blunt and a drink, but I smoke for you too, because you're the homie and I don't want you to beat me up. Man, I'm not gonna fight you. You probably beat me up, man. You know how to fight. I don't. Giga Chad. I'm definitely a Giga Chad for sure. I own that book, A Gift from a Friend. Yep, it's a good book. It's a good book, honestly. That was like one of the first books I read when I started the self-enrichment path of my life. What's up, Avo? Loves from Houston. What up, Blue? Going on 4 years of sobriety. Glory to God. Congrats on that, Blue. That's incredible. Love you, man. How you been? How's life? How's Houston? Today is going to be my first battle rap event that I've attended in my life. What are the rules there? Can I walk up and shake your hand, or should I completely stay out of your way? Nah, you can walk up and shake my hand, man. Please do. What score unsettled? Please walk up and shake my hand. Go talk to everybody, man. That's the cool thing about battle rap events, is that they're basically like these VIP experiences where you can see Geechee Gotti and you can walk up and say, "What up, Geechee? Big fan." It's fucking really cool, man. It's really awesome. There's no real other culture like this that you can like be in attendance watching battles with some of the biggest figures in the culture. But yeah, say hello, man. Say hello. I would love to meet you. What was the last Hollywood movie you did VFX on? I worked on The Sympathizer, which is like an HBO show. That's the most recent thing I worked on, because I haven't done VFX in like a couple months because the industry is in fucking shambles right now because of this 2 strikes that went on like a while ago. They really did. I'm trying to choose my words correctly. They made it challenging for the film business. I'll say that. Any other good self-help book recommendations? Hell yeah, man. I got a ton. Let me go into my notes. There's some great books. There's one that I always suggest that I forget the name of. Let's see. I'm reading A Therapeutic Journey from the School of Life. It's a YouTube channel. They also share, they do books. So that one's amazing. Let's see. A lot of these are just fucking poems that I wrote. The Body Keeps the Score is a good one on trauma. Atomic Habits. I'm sure you guys have heard about that one. It's like a best-selling book. It's really good. Damn. I must have lost all my notes. But yeah. Those are 2. Yeah, those are a good one. Desi could probably give you some suggestions, honestly. She's a bigger reader than me right now. The Bible. Yeah, the Bible's a good one. Hell yeah. I've never been to an event. I really want to go to one. The energy is incredible. You should come out. Yeah, Dan, I'll send you love to Mexican Lush. He's definitely he's been good. He's been doing a lot of stuff. Power of the Mind by Adam Smith is an interesting read. That's sick. That's super dope. Hell yeah, guys. All right, well, I got to jet out of here. Sorry that these have been infrequent. I've told you guys that I have like an issue with these being about me and like being on camera and stuff like that. I like really don't like just how like, I don't know, I feel like narcissistic, to be honest, whenever I do these, because it's like me talking about my sobriety, me being in front of a camera, content, podcasts, and all that is, to be honest, like really cringe to me. But I think this show is really important. And I love talking to you guys, and I love hearing about your guys' lives. I love to hear that you guys are doing good. It's awesome. It's really rad. So keep doing what you're doing, man. Know that tomorrow's a new day. Know that today is today. And a mistake is just a mistake, man. And if you're having a bad day, it's a character building day. That's a Denzel Washington quote for that ass. All right, guys, I'll see you later. Remember to tune into the Riot today at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for free. A Ward versus Sharon. Oh, wait, no, A Ward versus Cali Smooth, excuse me. Sharon versus Emerson Kennedy. Geechee versus Eptos is not going down, unfortunately. Eptos couldn't make it across the border, but Geechee already told you guys that on Twitter. Anyways, much love. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.